This is in-class exercise 3.1. We're going to grade this. Your parameters here, it's 20 scale. So that means this is 1 inch from there to there. This is if you lay your scale on there, you can see the 1 is 10 feet, 2 is 20 feet, 30 feet, and 40 feet. So each one of these small ticks on your 20 scale represents a foot. The slopes for the pad are 2%, and the slopes for the contours in between, the spacing 5:1 max, which is 20% slope, right? So because 5:1, 1 divided by 5 equals 20%, or 0.2. Either way you look at it. So to get started, first thing we have to do is locate our corners on these pads, and they've given us the top of each pad. So this one is 82.25 at the top, sloping down at 2%. If you scale it off, we see that this pad is 30 feet. So we don't know what the vertical is, and we know that vertical equals horizontal times slope, right? So vertical, don't know. Horizontal, we just said it's 30 feet horizontally from there to there. So 30 feet times 2%, which is 0.02 equals 30 times 0.02 equals 0.6, 0.6 feet. So from here to here it drops 0.6 feet, so we subtract 0.6 from 82.25. 82.25 minus 0.6 equals 82.25 minus 0.6 equals 81.65. So your corners on this pad are 81.65 and 81.65. All right. Now we got to do the same thing down here. This pad it's 30 feet as well, and at 2%, so you know that it's going to be the same. 30 feet times 2% is 0.6, so it's going to drop 0.6 from here down to here. So they make that easy. So subtract 0.6 from 75.65, and you get 75.05. 75.05. Okay, so now we've graded out the corners. We know what the elevations of the pads are. So now we've got to do the contours in between the pads as well as on the pad. So let's start at the top and just work our way down. So this is 82.25, and it's going uphill, right? 83, 82, 81. It's going downhill this way. Downhill, these arrows point downhill. 82.25, we've got to go to contour 83. So if this is 0.75 feet away, see, it's 83 feet minus 82.25 is 0.75 feet, right? So 83 is 0.75 feet away from 82.25 vertically. Well, this is less than a foot, but your separation is 5:1. Let's see if it was a foot. Let's see if we go 5:1. Contour 83 is almost 6 feet away, so it's already at least 5 feet away. So we don't have to do anything. That we're already meeting grade there, so that contour is fine because it's more than 5 feet away. Now we got to locate going this way, contour 82 or 81, right? That's the next contour down. sorry, back. 82 is the next contour down. 82.25, we got to drop to contour 82. Contour 82 is 0.25 feet away vertically, right? If we subtract 0.25 from that, we get 82. So that's the vertical distance of 0.25. We don't know horizontally where it is, but we know the slope. So what's the horizontal? We don't know horizontal equals vertical divided by slope, right? So if vertical is 0.25 and we divide that by the slope, 0.002, because that's the same as 2%, we get 0.25 divided by 0.02, 12.5 feet. So we just measure off of this line 12.5 feet and do it over here just so you can draw a straight line, 12.5 feet. And it should be horizontal to this line because it's a flat pad, so your intent is to make that horizontal. This line, this line, this line. Should all be parallel. So this is contour 82. Alright? Now, this is 81.65, so 81 is not on this pad anymore. Right? It's 0.65 feet vertically away. So we don't know how far horizontally it is away because if it was a foot, we'd need to drop 5 feet away. But this is 0.65. Right? 81.65 minus 0.65 gives you 81. So our vertical is 0.65 feet. We don't know the horizontal. Do we know the slope? 5 to 1, it's a 20% slope, right? 0 divided by 0.2. That's a 20% slope equals 65 divided by 0.2. 3.25. 3.25 feet. So this 81-foot contour is going to be 3.25 feet away from the edge of the pad. And that maintains that 5 to 1. So we'll go 3.25 roughly in there. And 3.25 roughly in there. And draw your horizontal line and use your straight edge. I've said this before, it gives a much more professional look if you don't just draw it by freehand. So this is contour 81. Oops. Contour 81. Hopefully these shadows aren't too bad. Okay, now if this is 81, we got to get down to 76, right? Because this is 75.65. So 76 is the next contour up above here, right? So we got to get 81 down to 76, and then 75 will be on the pad somewhere. So 81 down to 76, they're 5 feet apart, so you just go 5, 10, 15, 20, that's 80, so this will be 80, 79, 78, 77, and then 76. Did I do that right? It's 81, 5, 5, 5, 5, another 5. This is slightly less then, so it's going to be, so this is 5, it's about there. So it's close. And we'll do it from here, 5 feet, 5 feet, just put my marks. So then draw your lines. And all I'm doing is drawing them 5 feet apart because that's the requirement that we've been given. So like that. So one more like that. Okay. And then this is 80, 79, 78, 77, 76, and then we said 75 is going to be back on the pad, right? Because this corner right here is 76.65. So we've got to drop vertically, we've got to subtract 0.65 from that 75-foot elevation to get to our 75-foot contour. So we know vertical is 0.65, and you got to divide it by the slope, which is 2% slope. 0.02, not 20% slope, because we're back on the pad, right? And we got to have a flat pad. So 0.65 divided by 0.02 was 32.5 feet. So that can't be right. It is 32.5 feet. Oh, 75 is actually just off the pad. So see, it is. So pad 76, 75, down to 75. So it is off the pad. So it's almost on this line exactly. So it's 0.05. So let's just, for fun, we'll just go 0.05 and then divided by 0.2. Remember, it's 20% because we're off the pad now, so we're using this 5 to 1, which 1 divided by 5 is 0.2. So if we do this, 0.05 divided by 0.2 equals 0.25. 0.25 feet. So a quarter of a foot. So it is so close you can't hardly tell. Let's just draw it a foot off. Because if you draw it further than that, 0.25, you're still fine, right? Because it's a maximum of 5 to 1. So we'll just draw something like that. So that is contour 75. And then now we got to go 75, and look, this is 73 right here. 75 is way up here, so we got to go 74, 73. We got to add 2 more contours, and they got to be 5 feet apart because they're 1 foot contours. So there's 74 and 73. Okay, so now we've got all our contours. All we've got to do is tie them back into the contours, to the existing contours. So we've got 82, and 82 is right up here, so we just have to kind of swoop up. And we're just trying to make nice, soft curves. You don't want to just come at a straight line, jagged, because that would look very harsh. So we're trying to make smooth transitions with contours. So 80, this is 81, 81's clear up there. So you got to come around, something like that. 80 goes to here, like that. And as long as you're keeping 5 feet apart, that's the requirement. You know, so that's 5 to 1 max. Could be 6 to 1, 7 to 1, but 5 to 1 is the closer you get to 5 to 1, the less grading, less cost. So 78 goes right here, and then 77. Look, 77, we're on it, and then 76 has to come around like this, and then 75 has to come around and up. So you can do something like this, and this has to come around like this. The 73 has to tie back into 73. All right, and then we got to do the same thing over here. So I'll try to do this so my arm doesn't hide it. 82 has to tie back into 82. 81 has to go around the pad, tie into 81. 80, 79, 78, 77, 76 has to tie back into 76, and then 75 has to go around and back up. 74, Again, maintaining that 5-to-1 separation there, like that. So there's your, we just graded out those pads. What I'm looking for is essentially the level of cleanliness I'm wanting to see. I want to see some of your calculations on the side, so I know that you understand where you're getting these numbers from, and then making your contours nice and clean, tying in at where they hook into the existing contours. They're solid, they're proposed so they're solid, and then the contours labeling for the solid aren't in parentheses. Existing, dashed, parentheses, proposed, solid, and on top or uphill of the contour.